name is Wendy Potomsky, and I'm the managing partner and owner of Retake Furniture Rentals. Retake is once again a proud supporter of the Canadian Film Festival and is working to contribute to the Canadian film and TV industry by making it an easy and sustainable place to do business. Retake provides sustainable short and long-term furniture rental options to meet production schedules and product needs. Retake also understands the importance of set design and the dynamic nature of the film and TV industry, which is why we created a company to specifically support Canadian filmmakers. Retake can assist you in setting up your production office with sustainable alternatives to keep your team working safely as we all head back to work. We use sustainable approaches to minimize product going to landfill, which means any product supplied by Retake is helping to support the circular economy. Our in-house upholstery services can tailor our product to meet your set design requirements and match your color schemes. Contact us to discuss your office furniture needs. Our goal is to help you get back to work as safely and efficiently as possible. Stay safe, everyone, and enjoy the films and shorts at this year's Canadian Film Festival.
Celebrate Canadian filmmakers on Super Channel Fuse with an exclusive homegrown event.
I'm ready.
Go.
The Canadian Film Fest, presented by Super Channel, brings this year's festival into your home for a second year as a virtual experience.
Goodbye.
Every Thursday, Friday, and Saturday night until April 18th. Enjoy the premieres of indie films and shorts from critically acclaimed and up-and-coming Canadian producers and directors.
And this is where the donkey starts talking.
Immerse yourself in this inspiring and spirited event, both on air and online, with live Facebook Q&A sessions that follow the films.
Makes sense.
Start it.
Experience the Canadian Film Fest, proudly presented by Super Channel.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the third and final week of the Canadian Film Fest. Thank you to everyone who stuck around. We had minor technical difficulties, but it's really nice to see you all virtually right now. I'm Ashley Rains. I'm the festival director. I'm joined by my colleague down here.
Hey, I'm Bern Euler. I'm the executive director of the festival. Glad that you're with us. And I hope you enjoyed the movies tonight.
And we're really pleased to welcome Josh Bagan, the director of the short film, The World to Come. Josh, congratulations on a seriously scary short film.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it was scary, and it was almost sweet in a way for me. Like, I really liked watching what they were going through, and because of that sweetness and the scare, I wanted to ask you why, like, how did you approach that with balancing those two things to tell the story, the emotional journey of this family and the mom especially? What made you use both of the ends of the spectrum like that?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's a good question. I guess it was mostly just when I was writing the film, I was kind of drawing from my own personal experience. I knew going in, I wanted to make
ghosts haunt you.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's awesome.
No, but I mean, I knew going in, I wanted to make some sort of horror movie, but I didn't want it to just be like scare after scare after scare. And I wanted to draw on, just personal experience. I originally wanted to make a film about a younger boy who was, going through the death of his grandfather for the first time. And just for like my own backstory, I grew up, when I was around like 13, around the time of my bar mitzvah, both of my grandfathers had passed away. So I wanted to go that route. And then I started actually talking to my mom about it and talking about her experience with the loss of her father. And something about that, just having that conversation with my mom for the first time, that kind of really inspired me. And so I decided to, change perspectives for the film. And I think that's kind of where the sweeter side of the story happens, is focusing on the mother character, and sort of complexities that she's going through.
Well, it's a really nice portrait and capture of grief, in the immediacy of grief as well. That feeling of loss, but having that presence still with you. And then, the back and forth between the psychological part of that, or, is there actually a presence there? And the way you shot it gave us as an audience a lot to respond to in terms of like some of the static framing and just the suggestion that there was a presence. And then, the one that literally made me scream when we programmed it was the reflection in the television.
Yes.
So what was that process like, creating, that tension and horror and suspense, and where did you draw your inspiration from that, and how did you like conceive of it like visually like that?
Yeah, I think the idea first came. I was really curious about death and mourning in the Jewish religion. It's something that I think isn't taught at an early age. Like I had never learned about it, and so there's at a shiva you actually have you cover all of the mirrors in the house, in this house of mourning. There's a few different reasons why people say that they do that. One is just vanity. You're not supposed to be worried about your own appearance when you're mourning. But then there's other people who actually have a much like spookier reason for this, and it's actually because of this house of mourning is supposed to be attracting like this very negative energy. It's like susceptible to like demons and everything. And we cover the mirrors to kind of hide them out and push them away. And so the idea for the film was what happens when these reflections become uncovered, because at the beginning of the film you see that throughout the house there's all the mirrors have been covered, and then as we progress in the film you start seeing these reflections and you start seeing what's in the reflections. And so that was just practically a challenge. We actually we showed up on the day on set and we're just trying to figure out how to frame shots and if there was enough light coming in for us to see a reflection in the background. And we had, I think, half of the people on set were arguing that no audience is going to see the reflections. And then I was like, no, it's okay. It's okay. So yeah, it was practically a challenge, but it was something that we just wanted to experiment with. It was central to the film, these reflections. And yeah, I think in terms of like the slow static shots, I think it just helps build kind of the mood and tone that I was going for, along with kind of like very slow and deep like sound design.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it was really all just about establishing that tone.
And you said earlier, which I find quite impressive, this was a student film.
Yes, this was my undergrad thesis film from film school. And yeah, it was supposed to premiere at our year-end showcase back in May, and then COVID hit, and unfortunately we never got that public screening that we all looked forward to. But the fortunate thing was I had a bit of extra time to work on the film. I finessed the sound design, reworked the picture a little bit, had more time for the color as well. So yeah, it was good that I had the extra time, and I actually just finished it I think in December. So
yeah, that's too bad, but I'm sure there will be more, because you must be working on some other things, right?
Well, I'm trying.
What's next for you?
It's been tough creatively during COVID. I just feel like I've been so like blocked from anything creative. But no, my producing partner Megan, we started a small production company called Ocean Sounds Media, and we've just been offering kind of these micro documentaries to small businesses in Toronto. Trying to get their stories out there and trying to encourage people to buy local. So that's what we're working on now, and also developing things for the future. But for now, it's that kind of local focus.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah.
Very
cool. Well, Josh, I want to thank you for joining us at the CFF this year. Just a pleasure watching your movie and having it as part of our lineup. And like you said earlier, it blended so well and complements so well our feature movie. So yeah, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me. It's
no problem.
An honor to be a part, and yeah, it was a great festival.
Well, we hope you continue to make some more movies, and then join us in our real life CFF, hopefully next year.
Fingers crossed.
COVID, stupid COVID. But in any case, we're gonna say bye to you now. Hold on while we bring the curtain down. But I want to let everybody out there know that this is somebody to watch for. I can hardly wait to see what you come up with next, Josh. So thanks.
Thank you. Thanks so much.
No problem. Stick around. We'll be right back, everyone. Hi, everybody, and we're back. We're back with the cast and crew of our feature film. You guys, would you like to introduce yourselves? Because I'm terrible with names, even if I'm reading them, and I don't want to get any wrong. Go ahead. We can start with Jeremy.
Hi, everyone. Jeremy Torrey, Wapske Maqua from Winnipeg, Treaty 1 territory.
I'm Tanya Brunel. I'm the producer. He didn't say it, but he's the writer, director, and producer on the film as well.
Hi, my name is Eagle Nation Woman, but my English name is Sarah Lise MacArthur, originally from Saskatchewan, which is Treaty 4 territory, but I am in New York City, which is Lenape-Hoking.
My name is Paul Amos, originally from Wales, but I live in Ontario, currently residing in Collingwood, and I play the creepy guy with long nails in the movie you just watched.
Oh yeah, I play Dr. MacArthur.
Very cool. Well, thank you, everybody, for joining us, and thank you for having your film as part of our lineup this year. Real honor.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Thanks for having us.
It was spooky. It was enthralling. There's so many layers to this movie. There's so many, like, even just thematically, I think there was so much going on. So Jeremy, as writer first, like even at the script stage, how do you approach that in terms of all those different themes that you're talking about?
Well, I mean, it starts with just who I am. I'm just, everything that I do has a spiritual undertone to it. And so this was one that had been rolling around for years in my brain and had gone through various iterations. And but there were a few things that were always there from the beginning, which was the wife who may or may not have been having an affair on her husband, but she was miserable. Her daughter, who ends up being the young person who becomes afflicted with stigmata, the St. Francis of Assisi, who kidnaps, our main character, and let's see, and of course the husband who has to, basically is, quite the character, where he's literally willing to sell off his daughter to the highest bidder for access, in these various religious factions who are vying for her, to be in her court, basically, and legitimize themselves, type of things. So that was always there. The French language was always there. And, it just went. I mean, I love Coen Brothers stuff, and I think there's definitely some influences in there.
Yeah.
Cool.
So how long was your process then, from conception and
Yeah, it sounds like a long one.
This was a long one.
Yeah. I mean, there were a lot of different inspirations, but the real kernel for it started right when I started dating Tanya 20 years ago. We've been together 20 years, believe it or not. And so I'm from the city. I'm originally from Kenora, which is 2.5 hours east of Winnipeg. And she's, a huge Métis family in the Western Prairies, kind of where our fictitious town is set, that kind of thing. And just immersing yourself in those types of communities and understanding, what's going on and the interplay between everyone and so on. So I was like, this is a really fascinating world that nobody's ever seen. I was like, oh, you know, what is the, if these were the true descendants of Riel, right, from 1885 and before, like, how are they getting along today in contemporary society? Nobody's really seen that in Canadian cinema. So that was sort of where it all sort of began. And then it was draft after draft after draft after draft, and just kept refining. And there were storylines that were taken out and that sort of thing. And then it ended up where it was, and we shot. And then, of course, the process of editing took it to an entirely another level. So for example, the opening scene, like that, the opening of the movie was not how I wrote it. That was what happened later on, which you see in the, you know, it's flashes back, and then you get to see it in sort of the linear time later on. But you know, that's the process of collaboration with everyone, not just your crew and your cast on set and everything else. Like, you know, they always say, like, editing is an entirely different animal when you come to put a film together.
But insofar as the process goes, which you just mentioned a couple of times, what okay, you guys have been together 20 years. You've got kids. It sounds like a happy family. You made a movie and you still sound like you're a happy family. How'd you do that? I mean, it's stressful making an indie movie.
Yeah.
I live in Winnipeg.
Yeah. Yeah. We have lots of opportunities to be outdoors and go and do our things. You know, I play lots of hockey and coach our kids in various sports and golf, and Tanya does her thing, but it's just always been, right, I'm the creative weirdo and she's the grounded administrator that keeps it all together. So that's how it's gelled for us. You know.
I mean, that's not to say that it's not hard sometimes when you're making a movie as partners, right? Where it's like, okay, I know you really want this scene, but, you know, budget wise, do you really like, are these the conversations that we have to have at home when we're away from the crew, and we can really duke it out about how badly do you need this, you know, one thing in the movie. So I mean, that kind of stuff can be challenging for sure, and it does get hard sometimes raising a family and you're both working on the same projects. But our kids come to set with us. They've been in every movie that we've done. They were in this one. They were in extras in the, you know, the church scene with everybody dashing out. And I mean, they love it, right? They got to see the snake, Mr. Bigglesworth, and they loved that. Craft services is their favorite place to hang out, go figure, right? As they get a little bit older, you know, our last movie that we did, the boys took their Xbox and hung out in a trailer that was empty for a while. So, you know, you figure out ways to make it work.
Nice.
And then the performances in this film are so great.
Yeah.
Really fantastic. The cast work together so well. Actors, when you got the scripts, well, how did you get the scripts and how did you come to this project, and what drew you to these characters in the film?
Well, I've known Jeremy for a long time. And so I'm kind of privy to all of his plans when it comes to what is in the flu as far as which projects are coming next. And surprisingly, we hadn't actually worked together until this film, even though we knew each other through the industry and through various, like, you know, plans and like, but so yeah, he even was talking to me about the casting for some of the leads, and then eventually, like, he was like, yeah, we'll have you play the doctor. We're name her Dr. MacArthur. So I guess I was lucky because it got kind of tailored for me. And actually, it's the first and only doctor I've played so far. Except one time I do say I'm a surgeon in another show, but this is the only time I'm like an active doctor. So that was pretty awesome.
I'd never met Jeremy before, and I'd done a lot of video game work at that point. I was looking to do some sort of more film work, and yeah, I got the script, and it was a weird kind of part. It was kind of out there. It's generally the sort of things I do. I would say, when it comes to that kind of work. It was sort of fit the bill. Yeah, it was a fun part. So yeah, I remember doing. I actually was doing Zoom auditions way back then, because we did the audition over Zoom, right? Which would have been in, what was that, 2019, 18?
17.
17.
17?
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a while back, I remember. Yeah,
Early Zoom.
2017. That's right. Jesus, and we did a Zoom audition. Yeah.
So you're like on Zoom in a loincloth,
Yeah, just
dancing around and trying to scare.
Just me and my nuts. Yeah.
He got his nails done. He got his nail done.
Oh yeah, how are those nails? You had quite a fun time with those, right?
Like, I'd never done nails before, and especially, you know, the ones you get like really glued on. Well, I don't know why people do it. It's insane, because like going to the washroom is just like it's a feat in itself. Like, toilet paper became my nemesis, and because they made file them into these points, so they were like 2 inches long, and they were glued on, and I couldn't take them off ever. Washroom became difficult.
What? How long did you have to have those on?
For the entirety of my filming. It wasn't something they put on in the trailer. I had them on.
Oh.
And then I had to have them taken off. I know. I should have sued.
No, yes.
I should have sued. I should have been.
Just channel your inner Cardi B.
Right.
All the time.
Cardi B.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, they were painful. It's painful when you take them off. That's what. It's so painful. I don't know why ladies do it. I don't know why.
There are so many fun, what I would think would be like really fun scenes to shoot in this film. They're all varied and different and exciting. Do you all can you all tell us like one of your favorite moments from set? Like a favorite day, a favorite scene?
My favorite was the heater, because it was Winnipeg, late October, and that loincloth, there wasn't much to it. So I spent a lot of time kneeling in front of the heater during my scenes. It was my heater. No, they did a brilliant job on the set dress on our scenes.
Yeah, it looks so good.
Yeah, it was really fun. It was like, you know, because you were playing this character that was essentially in sort of eternal suffering, and looking for freedom. So there was like all these like little bits from like centuries of all kinds of different things, and the old woman in the tub, and it was just so macabre and dark and weird, like Jeremy's mind. It was really fun. It was great. They did an excellent job, and we had the most incredible sunset at the end of filming that one day. I've never seen a sunset like it. Yeah, it was amazing. We had the whole cross up on the church, and I took a nice picture. Yeah, it was great. It was Instagrammable.
Yeah, I think I was only there for some, you know, specific moments, but I really liked the scene with the other Indigenous actors, including an elder named Wambadi, and there were 2 other young men there as well, and I just felt like the group dynamic in that scene was really palpable, and it was great to have that kind of because Wambadi is an actual elder with a lot of like cultural knowledge and respect in the community, and so it was nice to have that kind of grounding element where you really felt the standoff happening, you know. So that was probably the coolest part for me.
Yeah, actually, I really dug that element of it, how it is possible for everybody to come together for a common positive goal. And so then that's like one of those themes that I saw that you hit on, Jeremy, when you were even like in script stage, which I found very interesting and honestly positive. And I wish there were, especially when I was growing up, I wish had been more movies like that to just, you know, let me have a peek. I know I'm not going to come out an expert by the end of the movie, but now I can learn a little bit more, and that kind of filmmaking is very important. So I applaud you all for getting it done in the first place. I mean, filmmaking is a hard business.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
What about you
Jeremy,
guys?
do you have a
Tanya, do you have-
favorite? Yeah, Jeremy, Tanya, do you have a favorite?
Well, I mean, for me as the producer, the last day of filming, when you have it all, you can feel good about
You're
that.
gonna say
But I mean, we filmed all over rural Manitoba, which was really great because we got to go to locations where they hadn't had a lot of film crews there before, and they were so welcoming to us. You know, Lorette was fantastic. St. Anne, we were in all these little St. Pierre-Jolie, we were in all these little places, and so to me that was really great that we were able to showcase these other areas of Manitoba that you don't get to see very often on film. And then it's always fun when we bring the kids to set because you get to see part of the joy of movie making through their eyes because they're just amazed by everything. So that to me is the fun part.
Yeah, definitely the church in Lorette. It's known as the Sistine Chapel of the Prairies. And that was one of those arguments we talked about earlier. Like, well, why don't you just shoot in St. Anne? We don't have to do a unit movie. I'm like, have you been in that place? Like, look at it. Beautiful golden light and everything else. I think is like, there's so many great scenes in there that I loved. The stuff with Paul, like you see it's in the trailer even, where his hand goes out to touch the, you know, her painted nails, you know, on her feet and stuff. Like that was just like, it just like, that's the alchemy of being on set, and the lighting comes together, and the smoke machine actually arrived on set finally, and all those different things. So that was really good. I'd have to say my favorite scene was when David LaHaye's character goes to visit Father Luke, and he basically has the check, and he's like, so we're gonna do a deal here. Just the nuance in David's performance was just like, there's stuff like his eyes are like dancing, and he's like, but maybe you could use some of the, you know, settlement from the residential schools, you know?
Yeah.
Pay me with the interest, right? Like they're just like these little things in there that it just turned out from a pure actor performance, elevated what I wrote, right? Beyond my wildest dreams. And there was a lot of that throughout. But in particular, that scene for me is like, it just resonates so much for me. So I hope that audiences get a chance to enjoy it the same way I did, because it was so fun.
And on that note, you like, this film has had a really impressive festival run. Where is it going next? Where can audiences watch it? Where can they tell their friends and family to see it?
Yeah, well, I think the theatrical, we're talking possibly a small theatrical based on what's going on with COVID across the country, but VOD and SVOD is after the May long weekend. So Vortex is going to be doing a huge push for that. There are festivals in the States right now that I think are Julian Dubuque in Iowa is next week or the week after. There's another one in Oklahoma. There's another one somewhere. Yeah, there's the one in Nice, which is on, you know, we got 6 nominations, which was really cool, over in France. So no idea how that's going to go, but you know, we're literally out to a number of other festivals, and
I know how that's going to go. You're going to win all of those prizes. Why not?
I don't know.
Do you guys post that stuff anywhere? Is it like on the Facebook page?
Yeah,
on the Facebook?
Yeah, plug away.
Yeah, shameless plug. So
Absolutely.
we do have a Facebook page for the movie, The Corruption of Divine Providence. We have a website for it as well that you can access from there. And we do list whenever we're in a film festival, the dates for the film festival. A lot of them are doing a hybrid in-person online sort of thing. So if there's an opportunity that you're able to see, you know, access it online through that festival, then we usually include those links on the website. So the corruption of divine providence.com.
Awesome. Well,
Mhm.
I do want to thank you all for being here with us in our second strange showing of the CFF. Hopefully next year we're back to normal, and in the years that follow, I hope to see more from all of you, because that was a pleasure showing your film, and I know I speak for Ashley on that one.
Yeah.
But thank you very much for joining us, everybody.
Thanks
Yeah,
for
thanks
having
for having
us.
Cool.
No,
All right.
yeah.
Stick around while we say bye, but for everyone else out there, we've got 2 more days. Wait. Yeah, 2 more days of 3 different screenings of lots of amazing Canadian movies. And I hope you join us. Bye for now.
Hi, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks.